If you're in a leadership role, you know that feeling. The pressure to make the right call every single time. But now there's this huge new question hanging over every single decision you make. What's our AI plan? It is a massive, massive challenge, and for a lot of leaders, it feels like you're trying to figure it all out completely on your own. So let's get into it. Let's map out a path from that feeling of isolation to actually getting something done.
But before we even touch the technology, let's start with a feeling that, well, many of you probably know all too well. It's that sense of being alone that just comes with the job, even when you're in a room full of people.
This is one of the most common things you hear from really talented leaders at the very top of their game. You're the one who's supposed to have all the answers, right? You're supposed to be steering the ship. But the thing is, the higher you go, the lonelier it gets and the weirder and more unique your challenges become.
Take someone like Janet. She's a rock star lawyer, an absolute expert in the courtroom. But now as a new partner, she's suddenly supposed to be a salesperson, drumming up business. And that feeling of being an expert in one world and a total beginner in another, it's a classic leadership problem, and it can feel incredibly isolating.
Or think about Jack. He's a CEO, and he's facing a decision that's going to affect thousands of lives. The sheer weight of that kind of responsibility is just immense. I mean, it's not exactly something you can bring up in the break room over coffee, right? That pressure's real, and it has a way of pushing leaders into a silo.
Okay, so you've got all that pressure. Now let's add a whole new layer of complexity to the mix. Artificial intelligence. This isn't just another task on your to-do list. This is a fundamental, ground-up shift in how business works.
And what's really fascinating here is the opportunity this creates. For maybe the first time ever, mid-market companies can actually go toe-to-toe with the industry giants on a much more level playing field. AI lets you scale up and run sophisticated operations with a pretty small investment, something that was just impossible a few years ago.
And this number? Wow. This really tells the whole story. About 70% of all AI software spending last year was tied just to the Microsoft ecosystem. This isn't some niche tech for startups anymore. It's being woven directly into the tools that your business probably already uses every single day.
And businesses are already getting ahead with this stuff. They're using AI to predict what customers will buy, to personalize marketing, to make hiring easier, and even to beef up their cybersecurity. We're not talking about science fiction here. These are real, practical things that are delivering value right now.
But let's be realistic for a second. Adopting AI isn't as simple as just flipping a switch. It comes with its own unique set of challenges that can stop a brilliant idea dead in its tracks. So here they are, the 5 big roadblocks. How do you get your board to sign off if they don't understand the tech? How do you even figure out where to start? Which of the dozens of AI models is the right one for you? How do you plug it into your current systems without everything breaking? And maybe most importantly, how do you make sure it's fair, secure, and compliant? Each one of these is a major strategic hurdle.
And when you're faced with all of that, on top of all the other pressures of your job, well, it's totally normal to just feel stuck. The whole thing can feel paralyzing. I mean, where on earth are you supposed to begin? The answer, and this might surprise you, doesn't actually start with technology. It starts with people. It starts by systematically tearing down that isolation that we talked about at the top.
The solution is to build what's called a mastermind, or a brain trust. And look, this is not just another boring meeting. It's a small, dedicated, totally confidential space with a few trusted peers and an expert, where you don't have to pretend you have all the answers. Think of it like your own personal advisory board for this one huge challenge.
The leadership expert Jim Kouzes said it perfectly. We don't get extraordinary things done by working alone. The biggest, most complicated challenges, like building an AI strategy, they demand a team effort. You absolutely need different viewpoints and different kinds of expertise in the room. So your first step is to build that AI brain trust. Get an AI expert and a couple of your key leaders together. Honestly, I'd suggest you put a working dinner on the calendar in the next few weeks. And right now, let's walk through the exact agenda you should use for that first, absolutely critical conversation. All right, first thing on the agenda for that dinner, efficiency. Where are the bottlenecks in your company? Are your smartest people stuck doing boring, repetitive stuff? The goal here is basically an internal SWOT analysis. You want to identify the operational weaknesses that AI can flip into some of your company's biggest strengths.
Second topic, data. Every single company is sitting on a potential gold mine of data, but the questions for your brain trust are, what data do we actually own? Is it organized? Do we have the right infrastructure to even use it? This isn't just about cool charts, it's about building the foundation to make smarter decisions. Next up, you're going to talk about speed. How can getting information in real time help you jump on market opportunities or defend against outside threats? We're talking about spotting a competitor's move the second it happens or rerouting your supply chain because of a storm. This is all about making your whole organization faster on its feet.
Now we're moving from playing defense to playing offense. This part of the conversation is about the bigger picture. How can AI help us see what's coming around the corner? You could use it to model the impact of economic changes, new government regulations, or, the next big tech disruption. It's about being proactive, not reactive.
And finally, you get to the bottom line, profitability. Once you've analyzed your data and the market, you can tackle something really concrete, like your pricing. The question for the group is, how could an AI-driven pricing model adapt to the market instantly, keeping you competitive and profitable without making your customers angry?
So, let's wrap this up. The most important takeaway here is this. The time for just thinking about AI is over. I guarantee you, your competitors are having these conversations right now. So the single most important AI decision you can make this month isn't which software to buy. It's deciding who you're going to invite to that strategy dinner. Who is going to be in your brain trust?